Welcome to Ecom Cowboy. This is D2C's daily show where we talk about one thing and one thing only, what's now and next in e-commerce. So founders and marketers and operators like you can survive and thrive. It is Tuesday, January 27th, the year of our Lord 2026. And it's warming up outside, but we still got a snow day here at an undisclosed location somewhere in the Austin, Texas area. We're coming to you live because of our partners Seguno, Postscript, and AMP. They delightfully make this show possible, and we got a jam-packed show for you today. Lego and Crocs have released a collaborated shoe that is just weird enough to work. That's how you know it's going to sell umpteen $1 million worth of product. Tecovas upcoming Super Bowl ad has been exclusively released by Adweek. And the question is there more meat on this bone? I believe there is. I am going to pitch Krista, CMO of Tecovas. I'm going to pitch her on the show. I'm going to make my best pitch job, and I hope that she picks it up and takes this thing and runs with this baton. Claude is your new creative strategist. What David Herman told us weeks ago, the internet has found out about and is going wild over. And dropshipping demons cannot close women. Alex, released a new article that I think everybody should pay attention to. We're going to dive into that and why dropshippers cannot close women. And last but not least, most importantly, CEO of BOOMN and Glimmer, Colin McGuire, OG of D2C, will join us on the show. Mentor, actually, of many of the best and brightest in our space. He's going to join us. He's actually already reached his 2026 business goals for the year. So be not afraid. It's not all doom and gloom to be had out there on the open and free internet, ladies and gentlemen. Some of us are not just surviving, but are thriving. We're going to dig into Colin as to why. And as always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Colin Doherty. Colin, get in here. Get inside this show. Get in here.
Let's go.
Yes. Let's go. You are looking delightfully rugby-ish today.
Ready.
And Ralph Lauren would be happy to have you inside of any magazine that he was rolling out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Just wanted to say that. Lego and Crocs has released a shoe. And this shouldn't work. That's how you know that it will work. It's weird. It's oversized. I saw this and I knew if somebody at my high school back in the day would have worn this, I probably would have made fun of them. And that's how I know this thing is going to make mega millions. When you saw this, Colin, what was your reaction at first blush? You like this? You hate it? What do you think?
Absolutely love it. This thing is going to make millions, like you said. If you guys remember the moon boots that got released a couple years ago that everybody was wearing, where it was like up to your knee, basically, and those things crushed. They completely sold out, and you saw like all the biggest celebrities were wearing them. I think the same thing's going to go for this. It's just so fun and cool. And like, I bet you people are going to wear these to parties. And it's like very much a like a staple piece. Like it's a piece that you want people to see very directly. It's making kind of a show of things. It wants to be photographed, these types of things. This is awesome. I love this.
These were debuted at Paris Week,
Of course they
Paris
were.
Fashion Week, of
Of course they were.
course, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much they cost. I would imagine several
180.
thousands. 180? Only
180.
180?
Yeah, 180.
Wow. Wow. Of course, I come from a different time, but I know whenever Crocs is going to release something that's special, a one-off, a limited run, it's going to be mega weird and it's going to stand out and everyone is going to love this thing. Why? It's so memeable. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, you wear these to a party, everyone is taking pictures of your feet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anywhere you go in these, everybody's
Oh, yeah.
going to be consuming, taking photos, wanting to have a selfie with you, laying down on the concrete with their face by your feet. This is like footwear as IP. I
100%.
always know when I see something that you wouldn't have caught me dead in high school. I know probably behind there somewhere, Oren John is saying someone's actually doing something interesting. And that's how I know when anything is like quote unquote interesting, when it could be categorized as interesting by Oren. That's how I know this thing's going to make mega millions of dollars. It feels inevitable once you see it. I mean, it feels inevitable.
All of the mega Twitch streamers are going to be wearing all of these. You know what I mean? You can feel that in your head where you're like, oh yeah, all the mega streamers are going to be wearing these. It's going to be the coolest thing. They're going to be talking to chat about it. Like this is going to be the next kind of wave for that.
It's incredible to me how Crocs has gone from,
Oh,
cool thing that's very interesting, let's all wear them, to wouldn't be caught dead in them.
yeah.
It's a sign that you have given up completely on your fashion and dressing yourself, dressing to impress. Back to, this is really cool. Let me stick thousands of charms on it that don't make sense. To now we have limited runs that are egregiously abnormal and everyone loves them. I mean, what a run these people have gone on.
Yeah, and you nailed it completely. I think it's those differentiators that you really nailed, which was the charms differentiator, which lets people customize it, which you don't really see in shoe wear. You have these cool limited runs as well. And I think the big one too is this IP collaboration that they're working with. Like they're partnering with really good IP. They did like a SpongeBob one. They did all these cool different IPs that they're partnering with to basically gobble up and then become in the zeitgeist of quote unquote cool. I don't know if you remember the Post Malone Croc that they did.
Yes.
That thing sold out. That was the coolest thing in the world. But it's because he naturally wore Crocs. And so they're finding these people that are just natural extensions of the brand. And then they just are just building on top of them to make this global, massive brand. They're also very comfortable.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And to me, what this says is be weird, my friends.
For
fly, let your freak flag fly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Don't be constricted. Don't be put in a box. Don't be painted into your own corner. If you like the Crocs, then lean into it all the way. Make something that you would never have thought would have worked in previous times gone by. When they first came out, like the big selling point was like you can eat these things. Like if you stuck in the wilderness, you could actually boil them down and eat them. And you can actually like play adult Legos with them. You can make if buy enough, you can make a big castle for yourself.
I love it.
Make some furniture for yourself.
Yeah.
Before we bring on our very astute knower of ball for the day to talk D2C, there is one more story that I wanted to highlight here, simply because you denied me yesterday, and I wanted to bring this story out. TikTok users are deleting the app. They are. This comes to us from CNBC. A very respected major arm of mainstream media. TikTok users are deleting the app. with removals up 150% following U.S. joint venture. On top of this, Mark Cuban's own investment app, Skyrocket, I think is what this thing's called. What is this thing called? Skylight. Skylight now has 380,000 users, TikTok alternative going up. And there's been creators on Threads who are bragging now about deleting their 400,000 follower base on TikTok. Am I working my way in a little bit with you? Can I just sow a little interest there anywhere? Am I getting anywhere with you?
No, this isn't really a bump in the road. This is maybe a hiccup for them. They're so big. They are such a conglomerate at this point. They have so much data. They have so much capital behind them. The team behind TikTok is so good. I also will reiterate again from yesterday, this team works very normally 6-7 days a week, and they are extremely good at this. And so, yeah, maybe they have some churn. Maybe there's some hiccups from, the guard change, so to speak, to the US from ByteDance. But this is just a small little hiccup for them. They're going to be cruising right along. I can promise you that.
I have to say, I do ultimately agree with you, but I just want to sew this in a little bit. I think at best, what's going to happen. Okay, maybe in this kind of weird transition, one of these alternatives kind of pops up as an incredible kind of clubhouse type thing.
I'd love that.
Which would be cool, right? Which would be cool. I think it's probably ultimately like flash in the pan. There are X and Twitter alternatives. They don't even exist like in my brain. I don't know where they are. I'm sure I could find them. I do think they've got so much momentum that it doesn't even matter. But pretty interesting to say the least when somebody deletes their 400,000 follower profile. That's crazy to me. Like, I wish I could go back and tell that person, please don't do that. Like, just take the app off your phone. Like, you don't have to delete. You don't have to delete your 400,000 followers yet. Like, just let's wait it out a couple of weeks and see if you feel the same way. Anyway, as we move forward here, and before our illustrious guest joins us, we should talk about numbers and knowing how your business is doing. I'm talking about AMP here. If you can't answer the question, how is my business doing inside of a sentence or two or a single dashboard, I'm not sure you really know how your business is doing. The thing I love about AMP, their platform, they are laser focused on you making your business able to scale with confidence easily in 2026. Make it easy on yourself. Their favorite tool of mine, Lifetimely, it lets you know your CAC, your LTV, how you're trending toward forecast. Anyone and everyone on your team can know exactly how you're doing in one visually pleasing, eye candy, delightful dashboard. On any team, you know how it is. Everybody's data is scattered hither and thither, and that doesn't help us all win, does it? At the end of the day, especially in 2026, where we need all the confidence and security and warm blanket of data that we can get. When you focus and you know how your business is doing inside of one easy dashboard, you can scale with confidence. And that's what we want for you. Many thanks to our partners at AMP. We appreciate them being on the show. Go to useamp.com. Tell them that Colin and I sent you, and make it easy on yourself. Fewer headaches, more scale, more revenue, green arrows for you. Colin, we have a very important knower of ball who is coming in here. An OG of D2C. He is the CEO of BOOMN, a scaler to the moon of brands. But that's not all BOOMN does. There's actually this portfolio side where they own brands. And Colin McGuire, he's got some interesting things happening with Glimmer. The guy has already reached his goals for 2026. We're like 27 days in to 2026. So I think we need a little bit of that sugar. We need some mashugana. Figure out what they got going on over there, what's in the water. Everybody, let's welcome Colin McGuire. Colin, get in here.
What's up, guys?
Let's go.
Colin, you
I
know,
love the
this
enthusiasm.
brother, we have to be. We have to be. And this meeting between you and I has been a long time coming. A long time
It really
coming.
has been. Yeah, you're right.
For those who don't know, Will Bailey, one of the best friends of mine in the whole world, used to work for Colin. I believe he was entrepreneur in something, a really fancy title over there. And
Yeah.
you don't know this, Colin, but actually Will and I, we had a secret plan for me to make it over to BOOMN at one point. We did.
Yeah?
We were working and scheming, but it didn't end up happening.
Well, that would have been cool. Yeah,
It would have been cool.
Like the few salt of the earth people in our industry, like just one of the best guys you'll ever meet.
He is. And it was through him that I got to know of you and all you guys are doing. Man, if you would, please give us some background, because what I've also heard, Colin, is that you have brought some of the best and brightest in our game into actually knowing how to do Facebook ads in the first place. Just give us some background on BOOMN, man, what you guys are doing, and also just a little foretaste of what's going on with Glimmer, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So BOOMN, we started as a full service growth marketing agency specifically for the D2C space in like 2016. I know that in February we're turning 9 and we're going to be starting our 10th year. So we've had a lot of staying power in the space. Like, my background, before starting BOOMN was I was a really early advertiser on Meta. In late 2010, I was a part of something called like the Facebook Dark Post Beta Program, or I forget exactly what it was called. But I've been advertising on Meta for an extremely long time, right? Just had like kind of first movers advantage. Was kind of like drop shipping before drop shipping was a thing, and like, print on demand before print on demand was even like really a thing.
Yes.
And so, used that to build and grow, BOOMN. And, basically, BOOMN's, produces about in between like $60 to $100 million a year in e-commerce revenue over the last like few years. I think I should probably say like about like, I think 89 million was our biggest like top line number. So we have a really interesting model. It's not your traditional like, growth marketing agency fee. So we actually take a percentage of net sales. So we throw our entire team at it and actually like, become long-term partners with the brand. So many of our clients have been around for many years. And so, because we built the team the way that we did, we actually also on the side built basically our own brand portfolio. So we took the capital, and the profit that we were creating in the agency, started acquiring and starting our own brands. Glimmer is one of those brands. It's my big focus now. But yeah, we basically, used it to build an actual, D2C brand portfolio. And yeah, Glimmer is kind of the golden child of that right now. So, the really short story on Glimmer is that, we found a lot of success in 2024. It became one of the top 10 TikTok shops in the category, top 5,
Wow.
At one point in time. Kind of used our D2C prowess to, grow to basically, just shy of $5 million in 24. And then in 25 last year, we got a pilot with Target, absolutely murdered the pilot.
Wow.
And now we're, what I'm being told is Target's like fastest expanding salon care brand. So we'll be nearly with them this year. They're taking a big bet on us. We're going from 3 to 7 SKUs and going nearly nationwide with them. And we've got a lot of other retailers, a lot of other retail interest and kind of things that we're working on with other retailers, once our Target exclusivity ends. But yeah, that's kind of the nutshell of like, who I am and, how BOOMN and Glimmer are linked, I guess.
That's so sick. Yeah, it's sick.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead,
Chris, you mind if I jump in here?
Yeah, man.
It's nice to meet you.
Great to meet another Colin in e-commerce. Always amazing. Just a question for you for Glimmer, for how you're thinking about this. I know you mentioned a lot of retail expansion going into Target. Are you thinking specific stuff around the e-commerce world as well? Or are you guys primarily focused, hey,
Oh,
we really
no.
want to focus on retail in 2026. That's going to be the core. That's going to be the focus. We're going to kind of let the e-commerce side kind of just chug along, but not really make it the main thing.
Yeah, that's actually a big part of, what I told told you guys I wanted to talk, is that I really think that you arbitrage game, particularly of Meta, but I think it's broader of all digital advertising platforms, whether it be a Google, Meta, TikTok, whatever. I think the value arbitrage used to be buy really cheap CPMs and clicks, can purchase, aka like first purchase profitability. And I've been, this isn't coming from someone who's not been around for a very long time, so I think that there's been a macro shift, and the cost of CPMs, the cost of clicks, the competition in the auction, and the value arbitrage has switched from first purchase profitability into a longer game, where the new value arbitrage is basically by buying ads on a CAC to LTV basis. And to answer your question in like a long-winded way is that, I think my fundamental bet, my big bet was that if we take a big swing at mass retail and you get the additional, foot traffic combined with the digital, side of things, when you have a brick and a click strategy, I think that's where you can buy on a CAC to LTV basis. And I think that's really the future, right? If you look at all the big brands winning today, Grunz has had a bunch of, headlines, IM8, Jordan, my homie, Jordan Menard, instant hydration, right? These are all brands that are acquiring customers at a planned loss because they have the infrastructure to extract lifetime value out of them, or an offer, right? And so while a lot of brands, aren't really subscription optimized, like some product categories and some products inherently don't have good attributes. They just don't have, inherently good attributes for subscription. And so I think the big play is to move over to mass retail, right? And really try to extract the value from mass retail, by way of like spillover, right? From how good you're doing on D2C. And so does that answer your question?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic.
I think the trouble that I have seen, Colin, is that everybody wants what you got right now. They do. Everybody in D2C, they want a replenishable that's got that hot sexiness, kind of e-com fire up underneath it, that just naturally translates into retail, and then people gobble it up and buy it in droves. But those are not easy waters to win in. And my guess would be that there's several years of skill development behind you here, in addition to product development, that's allowing you to execute in a winsome way on this bricks and clicks strategy. Bars, by the way. Give us some insight. Give us some insight on that, because I think everyone would love to just say, hey man, I've got a subscription product. It's good enough. We're going to roll it into retail now and we'll clean up. But it's not so easy a translation.
Yeah. I mean, we launched with Target, right? Which I'm not a retail guy, so I'm just going to go off of, what I've been told and what my experience is. But I mean, getting your brand truly retail ready is a lot more of a lift than I think a lot of people think it is, right? The label compliance, product compliance, formula safety, if you have some sort of consumable going in or on the body, all of the, we launched an entire rebrand and redesigned all of our products, because it used to have, I guess you can't see it up there. It used to have white print on these pink bottles, and it was just not ideal for the shelf. So, we had to like execute, a lot to get on the shelf, and then while you're having a pilot, you'd be, really silly to not invest in marketing, and invest in support to make sure that that pilot goes well, because you've made this big investment to get there, increasing your insurance, overhauling your entire brand, building the retail infrastructure, manufacturing and holding a shitload of inventory on your books, to have stock, for if it goes well, right? You got to make sure you have, inventory in stock. It's typically a different SKU, right? Like our D2C SKUs and your mass retail SKUs are going to, be packaged differently, right? Our D2C SKUs are shipped so they won't leak. You can't have that, the same sort of protection on the shelf in mass retail. And so it's a big lift to get there, right? And so, but, it's not only is it difficult to even, win the award to get on the shelf, right? But it's a big journey, and it's a big challenge, for a small team to get retail ready, get on the shelf successfully, execute a pilot, strongly. And we ended the year last year with basically all of the awards in going into 2026. Like, they saw what we did. And they immediately made, kind of like an institutional bet on us, in our category. But yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, right? So, it's very different than D2C. Like, I felt like a fish out of water. I was totally out of my element in D2C. Requires so many different new skills and experience to even, get on the shelf. Like the terminology that they use in that space is totally different than what we use. And so, like, I'm Googling terms on meetings to try and figure out, like, what does that even mean? You know what I mean?
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's unreal.
It's interesting to think about you having done this since 2010. Now here we are 16 years later. And you're the one who's Googling verbiage inside of the meeting instead of the other way around, which I'm sure that has happened so many times.
16 years. How am I not retired yet? I must not be very good at that.
Glimmer's going to be the one, Colin. Glimmer
is. That's the bet we're making. So that's the bet we're making.
Well, Chris knows this. I'm huge on partnerships. I'm huge on influencers and, collaborations. Can you sprinkle any collaborations or partnerships you got going and cooking up for 2026? Any Sydney Sweeney's just possibly in the hanging in the wayside or something like that you can tell us? Obviously, there's stuff you can't tell us.
Yeah, I guess the very first thing I'll say is, like, our Sydney Sweeney is a gal named Kate Davis. She's actually been a long time influencer and creator for us at Glimmer. We've done like multi-year deals with her. She's the one with like an authentic hair glow up story with our product. So we're going to continue with her. I'm a really big believer in like structuring these long-term creator influencer deals. Obviously I'm not, in my target market. So like there's a little bit of disconnection with like, the founder and the customer. And so, the way that we compensate by that is like, trying to do as many influencer creator deals as we can, where, we don't have to have it be profitable on like, the very first touch point, right? Not like the traditional influencer post, but like over time. And so I would like to execute a lot more, multi-year deals with influencers and creators. There are some that, we're having conversations with and or, are pretty close to where we want to be. But at the moment, I'm actually about to kick off a raise. We gotta raise some capital to kind of accelerate through this, through this trajectory with our retail partners. There's also a couple, partners we're launching with in Canada and in Europe, during our exclusivity with Target in the US. that, I'd prefer probably not talk about publicly now, just because, I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things. I mean, the partnerships I'm really excited about is continuing to do big, more large, like influencer, celebrity, creator deals again. And and potentially, trying to do actual deals with some of these mass retail companies. Like they have like accelerated priority brands. Like I'm not sure if you've seen any of the Target commercials lately. There's Rise Coffee, there's David, the protein bars. Like I'm trying to do more like how do I get that level of access? Like that's really what I'm trying to pursue next.
Wow. Breaking news here on the show.
I love that. And that's raise. I also love that.
Love that. Now, Colin, as you step into this and you guys are seeing massive success, there are others that play in this space generally, and they're combating bigger boys, perhaps. But the honest company, they're completely shutting down D2C altogether, and I'm surprised by that. I don't know that translates to more profitability in retail. Just give me some of your perspective on that, since you're playing here now.
Well, I think that kind of is another data point or like a node as to where the value arbitrage shift happened with Meta, right? Those companies, like the honest company, they're not a D2C company, right? They're publicly traded. They're a big bloated company. They don't have scrappy, agile, growth marketers in the company anymore. I would assume they. I think the value of C has been significantly diminished, right? Like direct to consumer used to stand for like cutting out the middleman, passing on, a better price to you. You know what I mean? Like that's generally changed now, right? Like almost all brands sell for cheaper in retail, including Glimmer, right? We actually made way more profit, you know what I mean, from the wholesale channel than we did D2C.
Wow.
Why? Well, because the contribution margin and like your net margins are so diminished due to how expensive Meta, Google, TikTok, and the overall digital marketing and digital advertising stack costs, right? Like, the hard costs of ads, right? And so I think that, the honest company, is like, hey, they're just deciding, hey, we're not good at this, right? The next era of what's required to compete in this category is not something we're up to investing in. And so they leave, you know what I mean? Like, working with 500 to 1,000 creators a month on TikTok, that's fucking hard. Like strategizing ad creative, for Meta and TikTok, that's fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like Andromeda and creative diversity, right? Like it's getting harder and harder and harder to compete as the category gets more saturated. And like the kids that, when I came up, right, when like, me and the guys our age, we came up, like we ate the guys' lunch ahead of us. You know what I mean? The agencies and the brands, and, there was a lot of disruption going on. And at the same time, the kids that are younger than us, you know what I mean? They're stepping up and eating our lunch in D2C. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot more of them. It's a lot more normal. Like when I got into this, it was like my parents like literally forced me to get a job. They were like, "What do you mean you're selling stuff on the internet?" You know what I mean? Like, get a fucking job, I got a job. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, wait, like, why am I working a job? Like I was selling stuff on the internet just fine. You know what I mean? And now it's a whole industry. People are asking me to speak about this stuff. And like before I used to lie. You know what I mean? Like I would just tell people like I was in real estate and shit, because like it was easier to say that than it was to like explain to people that like I sell shit on the internet. Like that was incomprehensible at the time. You know what I mean? So I think that it's just like there's a bunch of disruption going on. I think there's a big shift in value on all these digital platforms, and brands like companies like the honest company have just decided, why play a game we know we're not good at, you know what I'm saying? Wow. And just focus on the higher margin channels, which is wholesale right now. That's just what it seems to me. And there's always outliers, but most of the people I'm talking to are seeing the same thing.
Wow. Game has changed. Game has changed.
I really think it has. I mean, it's just evolved,
Yeah.
I think we can all also relate to what are we going to tell the relatives and extended family our job is, so that we don't have this weird conversation where it's like, what do you do? And you're like, I'm in e-commerce. They're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
Let me carve out 30 minutes for this.
My wife's uncle just calls me the pop-up ads guy. And
there we go.
That's fair. That's super fair.
That's kind of what I started telling him, like, I just do pop-up ads. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, I get that.
They all know that you've made it now. You're in Target. You say, just go to Target, find the pink bottle. That's me. Yeah. That's what I do.
Cap, top shelf. People walk by it all the time. That's actually the coolest, most rewarding part about the entire Target thing is, there's a bunch of friends and family who are now taking, what I'm doing a lot more seriously, because they walk into their Target, place they go all the time, and they see our brand, end cap, main aisle, top shelf, and all of a sudden they're like, holy cow, like, this is real. Like, it becomes tangible. Like, no one really knows what we're doing, what all of us are doing, like messing around on our computers all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like it becomes like tangible, right? For like, I don't even think my mom tried our product and it was in Target. I don't think she thought it was like real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it changes a lot when you get into, a big box store like that, for sure.
Well, since you mentioned Kate Davis's hair, I took a look and I know it's Glimmer's for real. I mean, she's got a head of hair. So, I mean, I know it is the real deal. Colin, we know that you are a busy man and we really appreciate you joining us. But if you would, before we get you out here, man, would you take 30 to 60 seconds just to tell us, and if people want to work with BOOMN, where do they go? If they want to be the next Glimmer and they say, Colin, I want you to buy my business. I want you to get a piece of this. If they want to go that route, what do they do? And also, I would assume you're not going to be buying Sam Altman's $60 CPMs at $1 million per clip over the next few weeks. Is that fair?
I'll buy the CPMs wherever.
Wow.
Wherever they sell them. I mean, if it makes sense, like, I'll experiment with anything. Like, I alphaed and baited, Meta, Google, TikTok, AppLovin, AXA. I mean, like, I'll try anything. You know what I mean? I'll try anything once. I don't do any more investing. So I would not like to buy anyone else's brand. That was a really reckless stage and decision when we did it. Ultimately, it's going to work out. I don't regret it. It's how I ended up with Glimmer. But definitely no more investments. In order to work with BOOMN, I mean, head to boomn.com, reach out to me on Twitter, wherever. We'd love to chat with you. And I don't even know if I'm not really soliciting investment, but I am raising around. If you happen to reach out.
Yes. Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news.
Well, Colin, we appreciate you joining the show, and we look forward to following Glimmer more. I'm going to get some for my wife.
Man, I appreciate it. Yeah. I'll send you guys some. Shoot me your address. And
okay, we'll do.
We'll do. Influencer.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Wow. That's crazy. You can see the shift. Like that. I think that's happening to a lot more folks too. Like, I think
that is, man.
A lot where his focus a lot has been Brez retail. How do we get endpoints? How do we make the endpoint amazing? And Colin just talked about that a ton. Where like Target endpoint, let's make that in-person experience amazing. We get better CPAs in person. Like,
well, it's funny you mentioned that. I had heard, and this rumor was not confirmed during our interview, but I had actually heard that Colin had mentored Mr. Shack on some ads before. That's the rumor. I can
No.
neither confirm nor deny. Maybe we can follow up with Colin and or Shaq later. But this is a great point. It's a great point, and it's something that we are hearing quite often. We've heard it now from Colin McGuire. I think we've heard it in other places from Jordan Menard. Jordan has wings. Obviously, Breeze and Shaq, they are doing all that they can do to get inside of retail. You don't make your money anymore in D2C on just the first purchase, which we all want. We all want to be first purchase profitable.
Sure.
But it may be that you're playing inside of a harder category. And what you need to do is build that customer relationship in person, online, inside of the inbox, in every way and shape, such that they stick with you for a long time. And that CAC to LTV ratio just makes sense for the business. And if you can do it where others can't, because of skills, because of product, because of creators, all of the things stack them up, then you've got a real winner. But it's not 2010 anymore. It's 2026. And that was very relevant, sage wisdom from Mr. McGuire there.
Yeah, I also love how he's thinking about influencers in multi-year windows. Whereas, you know, when we think about an influencer collaboration, it's like, all right, we're going to do a little launch together. We got the launch window. We got, you know, we're going to sell out for the next, you know, couple weeks, month maybe. But he's thinking about multi-year deals. And so these people are now kind of quote unquote synonymous with the brand. I love that. I really, really love that, because now you're getting basically the core group. You get these really, really good core group of influencers that are also super bought in. I don't know how he structures the deals, but I assume they get maybe a decent piece of the back end, and it really brings them in and makes it a really incredible experience for everybody.
I love that as well, because we saw this play out at Bruce Bolt in the early days. You know, there are certain creators, influencers, whatever you want to call them. Let's say they're not A tier or S tier. Maybe they're not Sydney Sweeney right now, but they're on the rise. And if you live inside of your category, your niche, you keep your fingers on the pulse every day and every way, you know who that batch of creators are. You know, the world's a small place. And oftentimes there's a list of, you know, call it 20, 50, 100 creators that are really the main players inside of your category. And it could be that there are some on the come up, somewhere in that C tier or somewhere in that just B- tier, who they're not everywhere and in every place yet, but they are on the come up. And if you can build that relationship with them now, that relationship can pay you major dividends years in the future when they are A tier and everybody wants to come for them and work for them and work with them. And you've already solidified that relationship in years gone by. I think that's incredibly smart. And I love that strategy.
Yeah, I have a war story from my old, when I used to work for an outdoor brand. I met this kid. We went to a surf expo. We were at an outdoor brand. We met this kid who was pretty young at the time. He was like 15 or 16. This young surfer guy. He had maybe like a couple, maybe like 10 or 20,000 on Instagram, kind of just starting to trickle up on TikTok. And, you know, he loved the brand, loved what we were doing. And I really made this huge pitch to my boss. And I was like, I think this kid is like, he's got that like kind of look for TikTok, and like, he's really cool. He's like one of the cool surfer guys. I think we should like really deeply consider this partnership with him and like really go crazy with him. And they're like, now we gotta spread it far out. We can't just focus on, you know, those 5 core guys. We gotta really spread it out to a ton of people. And I was like, all right, I totally get it. That's all good. And I think maybe like 6 or 9 months later, he blew up on TikTok. I'm talking like overnight, 3-5 million followers on TikTok because of his look. He's this like surfer kid look, super chill vibes, was really cool. And then TikTok blew up simultaneously at the time. And so it was just this wave of growth. And I think he has like 10, maybe 11 million followers now. And I'll always see it and I'm like, I initially was with that kid before he
Wow.
growing up, and I was like, this kid's gonna be something, you know.
That is crazy. Sometimes you know.
Sometimes you just feel
Sometimes
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
There was a member inside of the Bruce Bolt team who he just knew. He just
Yeah.
knew. He had his finger so on the pulse inside of baseball. He just knew who was going to pop off next. And he told me, you got to follow this guy, Robert Anthony Cruz. I was like, okay, Robert Anthony Cruz. He's like a baseball coach. He had a cup of coffee inside of pro baseball. Great story, great guy. And he was teaching baseball on the internet after his pro career kind of stopped and ended. And, you know, you could tell the guy was good on camera. He could talk and he was posting videos every day. Well, that Robert Anthony Cruz eventually became Coach Rack. And then a year later, Coach Rack became one of the main faces of the Savannah Bananas. And now,
Wow.
anytime you turn on ESPN, anytime you look on the Savannah Bananas TikTok, it's Coach Rack, Robert Anthony Cruz doing a backflip to catch a ball in the outfield. Doing all, now the guy is giant, man.
Yeah.
And you know, honestly, he got involved with Bruce Bolt very early because there was somebody inside the team who just knew, hey, this guy is somebody that we need to bet on.
Yeah.
So listen to those people who have a sense. You got to listen. You got to listen.
You got to do it.
Before we move on to our last batch of stories here, we need to talk about one of our partners, Seguno. I am so happy that we are working with Seguno. They're the only marketing suite that's built entirely inside of Shopify. What's that mean? Emails, pop-ups, banners, reviews, all of it lives in the same place that you already spend all of your time. That means your data is not synced. It's not integrated. It lives in your Shopify dashboard. Your Shopify data is the data, okay? And this is email 3.0 in my view. There's nothing to duct tape together. You have no concerns on, is this actually representative, this data over here, of what's happening inside of my Shopify? This is a big reason why they won the 2024 Shopify Build App of the Year. If you're on a lean team with big aspirations, Seguno is for you. If you don't have a full-time email marketing manager inside of your business, Seguno is for you. I wish I had this years ago. One-click automations, real human help. It's the best buy, bang for your buck in the email game. And if you go to Seguno.com, they'll give you a free trial. But if you mention Colin and I, tell them the Cowboys sent you, that free trial will get extended. You get 30-day free trial. Go to Seguno. We're proud to have them as partners, and they're going to help you make a lot more money and save money while you're at it. The Tecovas Super Bowl ad. I am very excited to talk about this. Krista, CMO of Tecovas, put this out earlier today. This was an exclusive released together with Ad Week, and I think that we should watch this. Are you opposed, Colin, to watching this together? You're opposed?
Let's do this. No,
Let's do it.
not opposed. Let's do
this.
Let's
do it. Carson, if you would, bring up this ad, and actually you may not have it. But anyway, why don't you work on it if you don't while we talk about it here? Okay. There are some things that I love about this. Of course, the ad that they put together just 6 months, a year ago, when they released their work boots and they showed the tough guys who were blue collar through and through, good looking. They've got the Tecovas on. They're entering into the bar after work. And obviously, it's a shift in the type of product that they offer, but that one was an absolute smash. I think we were all talking about it on Twitter for weeks thereafter. I loved what they did with that one. And of course, this I would consider like 2.0 in the sense of they're putting out a commercial that's not just going to be loved by anyone and everyone, but they're debuting it for the Super Bowl. So this is huge. This is huge for me. Carson, if you don't have this, why don't you just progress to the next one and we can talk about this video that, yeah, here they are. But I think there's a lot to be had. I think there's more meat on the bone for this commercial and what they can do hereafter. I think, Colin, you may fight me on this a little bit, but I hope not. Oh, here we go. Let's watch it. Let's watch it together.
The true West has no fences. There's an edge, but you gotta find it. Find comfort from the traditions that help define it, and the confidence from having the courage to defy it. But being brave isn't about being different. It's about being yourself. I can might not need more people in the West, but would it hurt to have a little more West in the people?
Okay. All right. Give me your reaction, Colin.
It's amazing. I mean, it felt extremely emotional. It felt extremely human. It felt, you know, the anti-AI slop that we're all accustomed to. It felt very intentional, and kudos to whoever's doing the branding for them. You're doing a bang up job. This is awesome. I mean, I'm excited for them. Not just the boots. I think everybody thinks of Tecovas as the boots. I'm more excited for the rest of the lines that they're going to launch out of this. Shoes. Hopefully, maybe they do some cool other stuff. Maybe we find out later they're going to be expanding. But I want them to turn into this full-fledged monster of a brand. And I think this is just a solidifying piece of who they are, what they love, what they stand for.
Well, they are doing that on the category, the catalog side. Man, they're launching a ton of things. I believe they have a relatively new CEO who is helping them do that, who's had great success in other footwear brands, massive footwear brands, and they got big goals ahead of them, and I think they're going to crush them and reach all of them. What I love about this is, in the context of the Super Bowl, a lot happening, a lot of lights and colors, a lot of bangs and sounds. I think creative like this, it settles everybody down, creates a hush inside of the living room. It's a little bit ethereal, but very tactile and gritty. Brings you into that kind of Landman-ish world. And then there at the end, maybe we don't need more people in the West, but couldn't we do with a little more West in the people? There's something about those American icon cowboy way of the West, win the West values that they're just writing a ton of. They're writing a ton of wins and zeitgeist right now inside of our culture, which is why everybody loves Yellowstone. That's why they're doing multiple spin-offs of that. It's why everything Taylor Sheridan puts out, everybody eats up, you know, like a buffet at the Golden Corral. What I think, and this is my pitch to Krista. I'm going to clip this and send it to Krista. What I think is that this is a great opportunity, not just to ride the wave of culture, but also to create culture. Okay. And what I want to see Tecovas put out its own mini drama. Okay. That is short form, episodic. And I want to show you the payoff. Okay. I want to show you the payoff of this episodic short form mini drama that they will create. Krista, I'm going to show it to you now. It actually happened in real life, and it caused such a stir across the internet. What you're going to do is develop the backstory to this, and Tecovas is going to be front and center throughout the whole thing. Carson, if you will, bring us to this next video that everyone saw on Facebook and loved. What's happening right now, for those who cannot see this, this is a high school football team who is being sent off to the playoff games, and their dads are riding horses as fast as they can with the school flag in their hands and the American flag, and everybody is going insane. Okay. I've got the hair standing up on the back of my neck as I talk about it. It brings me to tears every time I see it, because I lived this. And I grew up with this. I knew these people. I knew these kind of people. And that moment of going to the playoffs and seeing your town and your people represent those iconic values that you know and love, and ride a freaking horse next to your bus and send you off to the biggest moment of your young adolescent life. It's so incredible. Okay, so what I want Tecovas to put together the story behind this. And you can craft it however. It's cowboy who's always gone because of his business, but he loves his son, but he doesn't know how to communicate. The boy is going to the playoffs. He's an all-state fill-in-the-blank position player, and it's huge, and he's trying to get back and get home so that he can see said boy have the biggest moment of his life, and there's conflict with the mom. The mom wants him home, and the whole thing pays off with dad making it home on the horse as his son goes to the playoffs, and he's riding, and the Tecovas product is everywhere, and everyone's crying. And it's a mashup of Friday Night Lights and Landman.
I'm going to throw something else. I'm going to bring this up another level. I'm going to add another level.
Yes.
I think as part of this, they should get one of the actors from Friday Night Lights.
Yes. Absolutely.
You feel it. You feel what I'm putting down?
Yes.
That feels so good.
Yes. Get Coach Eric Taylor. I forget his real life name.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
He will forever be Eric Taylor to me.
Right.
Get this guy and bring him back home. Exactly. Bring all those people back. Bring them back.
Let's go.
And make this world, do some world creation. Krista, this is an opportunity for you guys to create culture and be the primary mover in all of this. Of course, incredible product. You're riding so many awesome waves, and you guys are doing an incredible job. Now you create the culture and the stories that we know and love.
And pull in some of that nostalgia from Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
I bring in those actors in. We talk about nostalgia's crushing in 2026.
Yes.
You can wrap all this up, tie an amazing bow on it, and just hit an absolute grand slam home run.
I'll say this. I was on TikTok last night, and this video came up, and reactions to this video from women who also feel this nostalgic pull for this video. Okay, it's not just meathead former football players like myself. Pretty strong positive reactions. Okay, I'll keep it safe for work here, but I'll just say the word ovaries was mentioned. Okay, there's a strong reaction, a strong positive reaction, and I think Tecovas needs to capitalize on this, and I cannot wait to see this mini drama series play out.
Let's go.
All right, I'm going to clip that. I'm going to send it to Krista because Tecovas needs to own this.
Let's go.
And if I'm crazy, that's fine, but at least we're crazy together. Okay. Moving on here in the same vein as ad creative, something that was said on this show a few weeks ago. Now the internet has discovered, and our own David Herman has been shown to have a even bigger brain than any of us thought before. Bring us to this tweet here, Carson. This was from Tory Rowe, and he's got some paperwork. He's got some data, some docs from Meta here. And he's showing us, hey, how does Meta actually work? Better models mean better outcomes. And he's talking about how the percentages are weighed. This is official Meta documentation, okay? David Herman responds to this and says, yeah, actually, I've been looking for that doc. Why did David Herman look for that doc? Why is it? Because he uploads all the documentation from Meta into his AI. And he says, hey, now that you know all this, what do you think about these ads I'm about to launch? Meaning his AI is inherently his own creative strategist help, okay? An editor, you might say, an overseer, a helpmate. And then D2C Prophet, I believe is this guy's name. Yes, the D2C Prophet. He says, he quote tweeted all this and put this on top. Create a project in Claude. Upload all of Meta's documentation on Gem, Lattice, Sequencing, and Andromeda. Then every time you have a new creative, upload it and ask Claude to analyze it against all of Meta's systems and tell you whether it aligns or not. Based on the documentation, you're creative, it will go through. Clear motivator, concept, persona specificity, standard comprehension, and more points. Format appropriateness, signal clarity, journey, stage, fit, all of these things. This to me is an incredibly helpful tactile way that we can all implement AI and give ourselves a better chance to win on Meta today. Your thoughts, Colin?
100%. You got to be doing this. You have to know what the platforms are loving and promoting. This is exactly what you should be doing. You shouldn't be trying to fight the algorithm and trying to just will your way to success through this stuff. Know what they're promoting. Their Meta is being amazing by, publicly documenting all of this stuff for you. You can do what David Herman's doing and just upload this to your Claude or upload this to Gemini or ChatGPT and then work backwards from that. And you can just do all of these iterations. And I bet you your ads will perform a heck of a lot better than if you didn't do this.
Absolutely. Take a page out of David's book. Take a page out of the D2C Profits book. Okay. I don't know who that guy is, but I've run an account pretty similar. Ecom Cowboy.
But we know Herman's a great media buyer.
We know Herman is a great.
We have one verified source that he's an amazing media buyer.
So. We have one verified source, and I'll just tell you this: having run a Twitter account that is largely anonymous for many years, when I see the D2C Profit come across there and drop some sauce on us, I believe it. Okay, I believe it. It makes me think, oh, that mysterious identity behind there. He's even better than we all know because he's concealing himself.
Nice.
Colin, we've got a few more stories, but I know your time is important. You have time to stick with us for a little longer, or do you need to bounce?
Yeah, I can do a couple more.
Okay. Before we get there, we need to talk about focus and Postscript. When it comes to focus, it's an amazing thing, right? And when you obsess over one thing, it yields unusual results. That's what you get with Postscript. They only do SMS, and they're the only player in our space who will make the bet. Hey, we are trying to make SMS your #1 revenue generator. They did that with me. And the great thing is that they have all the data on their side for what is working inside of SMS. And so you can trust, verifiably, you can trust whatever playbook they put in front of me, it's going to work and I'll make more money. I think on average, when people make the switch to Postscript, they see a plus 22% increase in revenue from that channel. I saw a lot more than that when I made the switch. And the great thing is you don't have to take my word for it. You can go to postscript.io/SMS-benchmarks. What you can see is my kind of company, our category, our vertical, my revenue level, what's normative. What should I be doing on SMS? What are others doing in front of me? And then Postscript, they're the ones who can help you take it to the next level and get there. I know probably many of you right now, you do SMS inside of a tool or a thing that does 5 or 6 other things for you. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Switch to Postscript. Go with the people who obsess over one thing and one thing only and watch your revenue go up and to the right. That was my experience, and we're very thankful to have them as partners. Thanks to Postscript. Couple more stories here. Quick hitters before Colin shall leave us. I'm skipping forward to Glassdoor here, Carson.
Oh.
Glassdoor. Who knew that it is a great investment predictor? What if culture inside of your company is the most predictive metric of future success? Huh? I was really blown away by this. This tweet says, here, this comes to us from Brian Feroldi. Glassdoor's best places to work list is a great hunting ground for investing ideas. And then this graph here is from 2008 to 2019, 2020. Putting your money in Glassdoor's best places to work businesses would have actually significantly outperformed the S&P 500, which I find incredible. What was your takeaway when you saw this, Colin?
I love this so much. There's 2 reasons why I love this, and I'm just so jonesed up about it. The first one is like part of me just wants to be a little gremlin and make a little scraper that scrapes Glassdoor for every single review and then figures out some buying cadence on Polymart with a bot that just triggers, investments and all that stuff. That's the gremlin part of me. The other part of me is saying, I wish we had this for direct-to-consumer brand companies.
Wow.
I wish we could see this so we could figure out which companies we should be betting on from a brand standpoint, and then we should see how they're actually going to be kind of evolving as we kind of see them go through this and leave some reviews on Glassdoor. I'd love for this to kind of be more ingrained within D2C and brands. But this is amazing.
I think that's the hacker inside of you. You've got this real kind of hack and stack, and you've got that. You've got that in you. Skills that
You know what
I
I mean?
don't have. I do love that. I do think there is a very significant element here of employee sentiment and what that means for future productiveness, progress. This is not my own story, but I did hear one time where a brand was trying to make a decision between a couple of agencies, and they actually went and looked at Glassdoor. And that was a part of the decision that they finally made. Very interestingly. Okay, I've never included that in my decision-making process, but very insightful, very interesting to consider. Maybe bad culture shows up in the financials just a little later, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of interesting to consider. In the same vein, our dear friends at Nike, they have recently cut 750 plus jobs due to automation. This comes to us from Kalshi, an astute, informed company upon which many people can bet on many things. I saw this. I saw this. It made me think, this isn't funny. It's not funny when people lose jobs. But what was funny was I thought of the lizard people laughing meme. You know, it's like the lizard people inside of the office and they're like laughing. You know, it's like automation. You know, I mean, I know efficiencies help the bottom line. I get it. But, you know, short-term margins can be long-term costs sometimes. And there's a real people cost to all of this that we're doing. I hope all of these people get rehired. Maybe they were just doing something for the bottom line for a short period of time, but human displacement is a real thing. And we all need to beware, and we need to dig into the tools, and we need to become the automators, lest we become automated away. What's your thought when you saw this, Colin?
Absolutely the miss of this story, what you just said. This is not about automation. This is what Nike's board wants to put on this so that they can seem productive and like they're moving forward with AI. It's really the fact that the brand has kind of fallen out of the quote unquote zeitgeist of what we're doing. And it's no longer the cool kids brand. You know, New Balance has kind of taken that over. There's been a couple other smaller darling brands that have come up and eaten a lot of the lion's share that Nike has kind of faltered with. I think they can regain their footing. They're a massive, massive company, but this is basically just putting lipstick on a pig and trying to appease shareholders. And I don't think this is in any way a fall of automation.
Okay, this is an interesting take. I still think when it comes to all of this realm, this is where AI and automations and efficiencies and be it lipstick on a pig or be it not, this is where everybody needs a better framing for this whole deal. Because the takeaway for the public at large is, okay, yeah, you're super futuristic and lipstick on a pig maybe, but you're doing cool things. But what's the result? People got fired. That's the result, okay? So on the consumer level, when I see this as a purchaser of Nike, what I see is people got fired because they're futuristic. Okay, well that doesn't make for positive framing at the consumer level. And I think in general, AI needs a messaging workshop.
100%.
Because a lot of times all that we're getting is like AI is so awesome and it's going to mean so much productivity and lots of money. And actually what the consumer's thinking like, well, yeah, but aren't you going to fire me? Like that stinks. I don't like that. I want to be middle class, or you know, I hope to buy a house someday, or you know what I mean? It's all of these very down to earth considerations. And so to me, it's a messaging quagmire that I think everybody needs to, they need to take a workshop, take a break, go away for a couple of weeks, go to Cabo. And you need to spin up, like, how are we actually going to talk about this in a way that's winsome to consumers and not just positive for shareholders. Look, we're so futuristic and we save a few dollars for the bottom line. Not a win in the public sphere in my mind.
Definitely not.
Lastly, last of our quick hitters here, and then we will let Colin go. Nate Lagos had to create a great video. You guys know he has this side project with these whiskey hats that he is selling, and not just hats. He wants to produce a ready to drink, but he put out this video where he's seeing some real performance out of this thing. And it's talking about how much he has spent on this whiskey bottle. Okay. Which it's a, what do they call this? What do you call this thing? I can't remember. This is a famous
Pappy Van Winkle.
Pappy Van Winkle.
Very expensive.
You got to pay a bunch of money. You know?
Boatload of money.
Boatload of money. How much I paid for this bottle? $1,600. It's got 66,000 views so far. How much I'd pay next time? I would imagine whatever this is, his views are only going up because outrage, right? Why would you pay that much? You know, the people in the comments, right? You get them fighting in the comments. What I would say, Nate, what I want to see you do next, I want to see you take a page out of TJ from Bruzel's book. This guy goes viral with whiskey all of the time. And what he did was he took a bottle like this and he poured it into his lawnmower, which made everybody upset. How could you waste all that money? And he ran the lawnmower on the Pappy Van Winkle. That's what he did. So I love this. I think there's more meat on the bone here. I think, you know, a little rage bait can go a long way as far as views are concerned.
I love it. No, that's a great move. And Nate I think he found a template here. I'd love for him to repeat this template and basically just do different bottles.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good option where I was finding that with TikTok earlier on, where I just basically found a template that worked and then you can just change out constantly. So he could just do a ton of different bottles. Just keep buying nice whiskey bottles.
Yeah.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
And just keep making different videos and see kind of who interacts.
Hey, he's got a $24 CPM right now. So, you know, you justify that to the wife and, you know, keep making a few more purchases there.
Let it ride.
We've got one article that was just sage wisdom from Alex. Maybe we should save it for tomorrow. You want to save it? You want to save it for tomorrow? Okay, let's save it for tomorrow. I could get into it now, but let's save it for tomorrow. Alex, we appreciate your wisdom. Appreciate our partners, Seguno, Postscript, AMP. Appreciate Colin McGuire coming on, legend, talking to us about what's going on in Glimmer. And the good news is we will be here with you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you on the other side.